Lift your lid. Welcome to Swift Talk with Sherry Swift, helping you experience explosive growth, moving from where you are to where you want to be. Say no to mediocrity and yes to the life you want and deserve. Here is your host, best-selling author, performance coach, and speaker, Sherry Swift.
Welcome to Swift Talk with Sherry Swift. I am your host, Sherry Swift. This series, we honor all things startups. In this series, we're going to recognize the courage, the vision, and the grit of the entrepreneur who's recently stepped up and stepped out with their idea, service, or product to change the world. Now listen, I'm a fan of a great photo booth. And honestly, I didn't even know how wonderful they were until my wife and I had a party. And look, the photo booth was the star of the show. Now, this sometimes comedic memory capturing machine brings out the best and, to be perfectly frank, sometimes the worst, and even the stiffest of us. Our guest today started her business in April of 2017, so just this April, and shows up to events to create magic and make them more memorable and spread just a whole lot of happiness. Brittany Hoskins is the president of the Pic Collective, and we are thrilled to have her as our guest today. Welcome to Swift Talk, Brittany.
Thank you for having me, Sherry. I am so glad to be chatting with you guys. Got some great stuff that I'm sure we're going to talk about. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I couldn't be more excited to have you here. I mentioned in my introduction that I love a great photo booth. I think they are fantastic. And I'm a fan of yours, Brittany. Okay. So I couldn't be more proud of you and this business venture of yours. Tell me a little bit about where this idea came from.
Yeah, you know what, Sherry, the pleasure, of course, is all mine. We could spend all night going, no, I love you, but I won't. So, I am probably one of those people who you would call a serial entrepreneur. I love everything business. And I'm one of those people that's super charismatic. I love joy and happiness. And finding a business that kind of pairs those two together is something I feel like is somewhat difficult. We originally started off with party buses, which I absolutely love, but there's a lot of liability that comes with that. And when you've got a bride boo-hooing on the side of the road because the bus has a flat tire, you kind of decide that maybe that's not for you. And so I wanted to stay in the city.
No, I said, oh man, I can picture that. I can visualize that. Okay.
Exactly. So I wanted to stay in the industry, but maybe deal with something that wasn't as death-defying as getting the bride to her wedding on time. And so we kind of just decided to look at what other things were in the industry, and the photo booth was a great option. It was something that had semi-easy entry into it, easy access, and it was something that paired something that I love to do, which is take pictures. I love to be in front of the camera. I don't know many women who don't, but I absolutely love to be in front of the camera. So my husband was just like, there is probably no better business to suit you than to do a photo booth. And so we had a conversation about it on Wednesday night over dinner. And by Friday, I was ordering a photo booth. It's just, to me, it's nothing to it but to do it. And this was definitely one of those businesses where it was a no-brainer and I needed to just do it.
Oh, how cool is that? That is fantastic. Congratulations. So you're right. You're good to the camera. The camera is good to you. I am absolutely excited for all of my listeners to, I'll announce that towards the end of the podcast here where they'll be able to find you and follow you, and they'll be able to see just how drop dead gorgeous you are and how good the camera is to you. So I agree with your husband. This is a great partnership and choice for you. Tell me a little bit about if I call you to my party, and the only thing I regret is that you hadn't started this when we had our party.
It would have been an absolute riot.
So, tell me what the experience is going to be like if I call you to pop up in my party. What does that look like?
I'm glad that you asked that, Sherry, because I think the photo booth business is so saturated, and there's so many mom and pop places that don't actually do it right, that I think some of the experience that you should have when calling a photo booth kind of gets washed out. So when I'll say a bride calls me, because that's probably the most often call that I get, is a bride calling me, hey, I'm getting married. I'm so excited and I think I want a photo booth, but it's so expensive. So there's like this excitement, yet this fear that I'm going to stop her from getting something she really wants because the price ticket on it is going to stop her from being able to get it. So our conversation first usually starts off with womanly small talk. We're going to talk about your wedding. I'm excited for you getting married, because at the end of the day, what bride doesn't want to talk about how happy and madly in love she is? Right? So first, that kind of gets rid of some of that fear of whatever is going to be on the tail end of this dun, 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 the price at the end, right?
Yeah,
because I'll be honest, the photo booth is an amenity at a wedding. You can get by without having a photo booth. You might not be the talk of the town, but you can get by without having a photo booth, and weddings cost a lot of money. So usually that ends up being the deal breaker for it. So usually we'll talk about the wedding, talk about why you want a photo booth there, that kind of thing, so that we can kind of play around with all of the add-ons that we have. So we don't just show up and take pictures. We're so much more than that. So we'll show up and take pictures, of course, but we talk about what types of props do you want your guests to use? What type of guests are you going to have there? Because I get people who tell me they don't think that as many people will use the booth because they may think that it's corny or something like that. And of course, I wipe that right away, because I can get anybody in the booth. People who tell me they'll never get in, I can get you in the booth.
Let me tell you something right now. Like I said in my opening, I'm a coach. I'm pretty serious most of the time. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking that, how much fun can this photo booth thing be? I mean, like, really going to be in there. And so I don't know if you offer this as well, but the person who did our photo booth gave us a CD. That sent us a CD or downloaded all the pictures, like almost like into a Dropbox or something, of all the people who had taken photos. And Brittany, I was so surprised and how they clowned in there. And I think we had more of an experience after just laughing and joking at how these people in our lives, as serious as they normally are, were clowning in this photo booth.
Exactly. So true. It's almost as if you give people permission to let out all of those secret inhibitions they might have, all of that dress up. A wedding is very serious business and all of those things. And so to give someone permission to be free and to be fun and to laugh, it's just an experience that who can pass that up? I highly doubt that anyone who's come to celebrate, whether a birthday or a wedding or whatever that event may be, that they're coming to celebrate with you, that they're people who don't like happiness or like joy. Usually if they're at a celebration, there's tons of that around. And so it's infectious when you see other people laughing and other people are dragging you in the booth. I'll hop in the booth and I may not even know you, because it is just a complete experience. We'll do scrapbooking and not those things where you just paste a picture in the book and write a message. Like, we do full-blown scrapbooking, embellishments, glitter, scissors. We'll bring it all out, because you'd be surprised at how much adults love to do some good arts and crafts. And so we just really, truly make a whole experience out of the photo booth. And I really think that has done a great job with setting us apart. Sure, it doesn't hurt that I've got that woman's touch on the other side. So I think about every last little detail, from matching backdrops to match my bride's colors, and getting props that have my bride's names on them, and just all those little small details that other companies may not too much pay attention to. I pay attention to those things.
So we talked about weddings. Tell me, who are your other prospects?
Anybody who has taken on the task of planning something. Those are my clients. So whether it's event planners, the mom planning her daughter's sweet 16, the quinceañeras, the bar mitzvahs. If you are planning a party, that is typically my client. Charities, we're doing a lot of charity work in this last quarter of the year. So I've been working with tons of charities. So corporate clients are my clients. So just pretty much anybody who's doing an event could potentially be a client for me.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about what your key differentiator is.
I pay attention to my clients. I give them what they need, and I don't try and sell them what I need them to need. I think that's a huge difference. Like our receptions, I don't know very many photo booth companies at all that automatically include an idle hour. Because at the end of the day, say you're paying 100 and some change an hour, 150, 175, 125, whatever it may be per hour. You want to make sure every single hour counts, right? But during an hour of your event, typically there's dinner. If there's wedding, there's a program involved. So there's almost always an automatic downtime of an hour. But guess what? You're still racking up a bill during that hour. And so we automatically, for like our brides, will include a 1 hour idle hour where you're not paying that full price for that hour that people are not using the booth. Does that hurt us? Yes. However, does it make sense for you as a client? Absolutely. People who want to do a video montage where they want to say a message to either the birthday person or the bride and groom or whoever the honoree is of the night. Are we going to be in the same room as the DJ? Great. Well, I could absolutely have you pay me for that add-on. However, you're going to hear all of this music in the background of people talking. So I pay attention to what it is that people want, what it is that people need, and I recommend things based off of what makes sense. Not going to try and sell you the whole thing if the whole thing doesn't make sense for you. And I think there's a little bit of that car dealership feel almost when people call people in the photo booth company, because they offer you all these things and you've either got to take everything or you take nothing. We don't operate that way.
So it sounds like your process is consultative, like you are walking people through the process, helping them make the smart decisions and helping them to decide whether or not this would maybe be a good partnership.
Yeah, very much so. Sometimes I talk to people and I tell them it doesn't sound like it makes sense at all, or they think that they need 4 hours, but they only have 25 people coming. Well, we could probably get everybody in 2 hours. You probably don't need 4. And so we definitely go through a consultative phase when they call me, because people think they know what they want until they really know what they want.
Okay. So, we syndicate to iHeartRadio and iTunes and Stitcher and Spreaker and Business Innovators Radio. So we're being sprinkled out everywhere. So where is your service provided currently?
So right now we service all of Michigan and Northern Ohio. We've been talking about doing some expansion to some other awesome states. We're excited. I've got some partners over in Arizona. I went and spent a month out there over the summer to kind of do some vetting out there. So we may be coming to Phoenix, Scottsdale soon. But right now it's Michigan and Northern Ohio.
Great. So tell me, weddings, check. We got that. Birthday parties?
Oh, yeah.
Bridal showers?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I can see how that could be a lot of fun, Bridal showers, check. Okay. Tell me what other fun events that you've been a part of.
So this past weekend, we just did a 5K. That was different. We had never done that before. That was a ton of fun. Yeah, different, totally different. We've done banquet dinners. So like big events for like Allstate or Quicken. So like banquet type events. We've done a quinceañera, which is very different. It's like a mini wedding. We've done that. Anything that you can put a party on. We've done a 50th, a 30th, a Great Gatsby. I feel like any excuse to gather, we should be there. There's so many different types of photo booths. You've got enclosed and open air and inflatables and mirrors and everything under the sun these days. With the Halloween parties, we bring out our inflatable, we put on our little spooky lights, and it is just a complete experience.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? We've been doing awesome. Our June is for Saturdays. It's already completely booked out for June. So you should call me soon.
That is amazing. So with that being said, let's just kind of spend a little bit of time talking about your badassery around like starting up your own business, stepping out and doing your own thing. Have you always had that grit and that desire to do that?
I have, Sherry. I wish that I could say I haven't, because then that would probably be way more motivating. But I have. I've always loved doing business and that kind of thing. When I was 16, my first car, when my parents were like, "What do you want?" I was like, "I want an ice cream truck." They were like, "No, really. No, really, I want an ice cream truck." And I was a 16-year-old girl driving an ice cream truck, and I saved up enough money to buy me this little Benz the next year. But like that solidified that this is what I was supposed to do for like forever.
Wow. Okay. So we're going to conquer the world one photo booth party at a time. What's next for you?
So, you know what? I absolutely love bringing people along for the ride, which is where the whole idea for the collective started. As the name suggests, it's a collective of companies. So my goal is to, as I expand, I want to bring on other people. We've already added on DJ services. We've already added on photography services. So my goal is to kind of just grow into this event services pit stop, where if you are planning an event, you know to call the collective. That is the place to go for quality, for fun, and for affordability. This is going to be the place to go. So we want to be that brand name in the event world. That's where I'm hoping we're going.
I absolutely love it. So proud of you. So one piece of advice that you could offer to someone who's ready to push out into their startup.
So if it was me, get out of your own way and just do it. If you study long, you will study wrong. If you keep telling yourself you got to keep researching and researching it, the phase of it will have already gone. Everything in the business world goes up and a peak, comes down and goes right back on up. It'll all be a wave. But if you keep on studying and keep on researching and keep on saying, I just need a little bit more money and a little bit more time, the wave is going to completely miss you. And all that research you've been doing is going to be useless, and you'll be researching for the next wave. Get out of your own way and just do it. Whether it is small, I've got a sticky note on my mirror. You can dream big and start small. You know, of course, I don't want to have just one photo booth. I love to have 1 million, but I didn't just go out and buy 1 million photo booths. You know, I started off with one, and my goal is to continue to add on, continue to build, continue to grow. But if I didn't ever just buy that one photo booth, I'd probably still be researching and still trying to figure out what photo booth to buy. And when we've already had an amazing 6 months already, just for me getting out my own way.
That is one amazing piece of advice, and me, the coach, couldn't have said it any better myself. So in honor of our guest today, Top Pic Collective, Brittany, would like to offer our first 2 listeners to write to me at swifttalk@sherryswift.com about how awesome Brittany is, and then they're going to receive a generous 25% discount on their outstanding party starting service. Right, Brittany?
Yes, that is absolutely right. I would love to talk to you about your party. So write in, let us know what you think. We're excited to hear from you.
Thank you, Brittany, for being our guest today and for bringing such light energy and information to the show. Tell me real quick, how will my listeners find you and contract your services?
Yes, we are on Facebook, of course. You can't do business and not be there. So you can find us on Facebook at the Top Pic Collective. We're also on Instagram, which is the TP_collective. And then you can also find us on our website, which is the Top Pic, and Pic is PIC, collective.com. So the toppiccollective.com. You can find us there as well.
We want to make sure that everybody can find you. What's the office phone number?
The office phone number is 248-599-1309. When you go on the site, there's a chat feature there, so you can chat, you can email us. So pretty much any way in the modern day you can get in contact with us, you can get in contact with us.
Don't reach until you're right and get your 25% off and then reach, right?
I like it.
Okay. I'm so grateful that you're here with me on this journey. I'd like to invite all of my listeners to please visit me on my website at www.sherryswift.com to read my blog on this episode and learn a little bit more about photo boothing. I want to thank you for listening today. Life is simply delicious. Let's enjoy a great big slice of it together. Till next time.
You've been listening to Swift Talk with Sherry Swift. If you would like to schedule time with Sherry, download the show notes and much, much more. Find it all at www.sherryswift.com.